Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a little fun here, a little archaeological fun. I'm going to first we're going to look at some swords and spears from the London Museum, which is just off the Barbican in the city of London, and we're going to come to some rather interesting speculations, maybe even tentative conclusions about the nature of these weapons. So here we go. First of all, look at this beautiful thing. Wonderful workmanship, obviously. Great metals used in this thing, and you see this squashed out towards the end here. This is very good for slashing. Beautiful sword. This dates to 1600 BC. Rather cool, I'm sure you'll agree. These are spearheads, very, very long spearheads. Again, great metal work, awesome stuff. And again, some spears here. The quality of the metal, again, you'll note. These are the spears are 1500 to 1000 BC. Here again, spears, not bad looking, and you'll see some of the very similar quality swords at the bottom. Small handles, great quality work, and the metal still shines, and not much rust. Again, 1300 to 1000 BC. This stuff here, a little more worn, sure, and the one on the right, the end there, certainly quite rusted, but some pretty good work as well in the middle. This is going back. This is a kind of shows a degradation in the swordsman, the sword quality and the build and the make. 500 BC to AD 50, and we're going to go on. I'm sorry, this isn't all entirely chronological. Great, this other metalwork here, going back about 1000 or so BC. Oosh, what's this though? It's rusting. It's beginning to rust. Where's this come from? Oh, it's Viking, of course. 700s, 800s. Okay, some axes here again, Viking. There's some holes in the metal here. Oh, not good at all. This is severely rusted. Then probably due to worse quality metal. And not the greatest work here. This is 1000 or so BC, AD. This is going forward in time, about 2000 something years between the production of the first and this stuff here. Again, these are medieval, and some rust on these things. You'll see the rust if you look carefully. Not the greatest quality metal. Here's some pretty good work though, not bad at all. Again, rusting. This might be due to the way these things were stored or kept, or put in the ground, whatever else. Some salts in the atmosphere. This is now coming onto the early Renaissance. There's my lovely sword again at the beginning. Oh look, whoa, look at this. This is interesting. The sword here, look at this. It's the same kind of sword. Very similar indeed, actually. This is a Trojan sword. This is from Troy. And what's this? These are Trojan swords. I snapped them off the of Google there. Would you say these are similar? And look at this, the spears here. Very similar work indeed. And of course, again, beautiful smithing, swordsmithing here. So I thought that was quite interesting. You see the quality of the swordsmanship. Sorry, not swordsmanship, but the making of the swords there is rather interesting. I'm going to read from a book called The Holy Kingdom very quickly. I wanted to keep this video under 10 minutes, so we'll just crack on. Our story begins in 1136 with Geoffrey of Monmouth, nephew of the Bishop of Llandaff, Wales. Geoffrey translated from Welsh into Latin a manuscript dated AD 937 and now known as the History of the Kings of Britain, covering the long period from the aftermath of the Trojan War to around AD 689. This contains the first Anglo-Norman account of the life of King Arthur, and was the book that sparked the extraordinary outpouring of Arthurian literature in the Middle Ages. Geoffrey, like everyone else of his era, believed that the ancient Britons were in the main descended from emigre Trojans. He narrates how in Greece, 3 generations after the fall of Troy, Brutus or Borith, a great-grandson of Aeneas, founder of Rome, led a successful rebellion of Trojans against their Greek masters. Realizing that they would never be safe from attack if they remained in Greece, they took to the sea and sailed to a then uninhabited island Geoffrey calls Logetia. He goes on to say, well, he was asleep, he was met by the goddess Diana, and she told him it'd be a good idea to get out and so on, so just travel through the Straits of Gibraltar, through the seas there, and you will be okay, and you'll find a place to live in peace and prosperity. The island was Britain, and Brutus, like Moses, leading the Israelites, brought his people to this promised land. Here on the banks of the river Thames, he established a new capital called at first Troyanova, or Trinovantium. Its name being changed shortly before the Roman invasion to Carolud. This, according to Geoffrey, was later corrupted to Caroludian and later still London. And we're going to go on to another part of the book here. In Geoffrey of Monmouth's later translation, this became Troyanova, which he says was later corrupted to Trinovantium or Trinavonant. Nennius, too, whose history was written in Latin long before Geoffrey, translates the Bruticillo, calls London Trinovantium. He says that Julius Caesar fought a battle against the British near the place called Trinovantium. Caesar also writes that this battle was fought by the only ford available on the Thames at the island of Thorns, which is now Westminster. Therefore, Trinovantium has to have been in London. And I want to just finish off. There's also a quote here. Moreover, Caesar's low opinion of the Brits stands in stark contrast to the reports of the Greek geographer Strabo, who was born in 63 BC and died sometime after AD 21. It is known that he visited Rome, and as he normally visited the places he described, he almost certainly came to Britain. His unbiased account presents a very different picture from that of the woad-painted savages of popular imagination, and is consistent with the Britons' own claims that they, or at least some of them, were the civilized descendants of the Trojans. And this is Strabo, I think. He came not clad in skins like a Scythian, but with a bow in his hand, a quiver hanging on his shoulders, a gilded belt encircling his loins, and trousers reaching from his waist to the soles of his feet, with a plaid wrapping around his body. He was easy in his address, agreeable in his conversation, active in his dispatch, and secret in his management of great affairs, quick in judging of present accuracies, and ready to take his part in any sudden emergency. Provident withal, in guarding against fury, and diligent in his quest for wisdom, fond of friendship, trusting very little to fortune, and yet having the entire confidence of others, and trusted with everything for his prudence. He spoke Greek with a fluency that you would have thought he had been bred up in a lyceum and conversed all his life with the Academy of Athens. So that's Strabo. Rather intelligent people, he seems to say. And I think I'm going to leave it there. It's also interesting that Caesar makes an account of the Romans when they're fighting in this battle, and they're using chariots. The chariots are obviously very old, but they are what the Trojans used. The Trojans were very fond of chariots. so I thought I'd leave it there, just a quick video, but we're going to move on and explain this more, because it's a stunning history. We're going to see that Indo-European legacy, the Egyptian chariot, people who use chariots in warfare and so on. And I'm going to leave this here, but I hope you enjoyed that. Lots of evidence for this stuff. It's just I just thought I'd pull a couple of quotes out. Thank you very much, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.